Hi there, my name is Morgan Gunther and I'm a naturalist with the East Bay Regional Park District. This week for Nature Close at Hand with Oakland Summer Reading Program, we're going to be learning about habitats that are in some of our East Bay parks. So we've got lots of different kinds of habitats here in Oakland and in the East Bay. And a habitat is something where an animal gets everything it needs in order to survive. So what are some things you can think of that an animal like you needs in order to survive? We all need food. Food is super important. If you have a favorite food, go ahead and say it on the count of three. 1, 2, 3. Macaroni and cheese. That's my favorite food. So food can look like something really different to a shark, which we have in the San Francisco Bay, or a deer, which we have in woods just like these. So food can be different in different habitats. Something else all animals need, and you also need when you're thirsty, is water. So water for us might come from a faucet or from a sink, but for an animal, they might visit a river or a stream or a lake or a pond, or they might be living in the water. So we've got lots of different kinds of water in Oakland as well. You might think of Lake Merritt or Lake Temescal or the San Francisco Bay. Now, we've got food and water, but if it's cold at night or if it's too warm or if it's raining, animals need to have shelter. So everyone put a roof over your head and say shelter. So we've got food, water, and shelter. And shelter could look like a hole in a tree, a spot under a rock, an apartment. It could be all kinds of different things. And these things all make up a habitat. And a habitat helps animals survive. So here in Oakland, there are so many different habitats in the East Bay Regional Parks, the city parks, your neighborhood, and all around. So we're gonna sing a song about some of those habitats that you can find right here in Oakland. So I'm gonna teach you that, and it goes like this. Habitat, habitat, have to have a habitat. And we sing that 3 times. Habitat, habitat, have to have a habitat. Habitat, habitat, have to have a habitat. Habitat, habitat, have to have a habitat. And then it switches and goes, you have to have a habitat to carry on. You have to have a habitat to carry on. Perfect. So we're gonna go ahead and sing about all those different habitats and maybe even go and visit some. Habitat, habitat, have to have a habitat. Habitat, habitat, have to have a habitat. Habitat, habitat, have to have a habitat. You have to have a habitat to carry on. So here we are at the San Francisco Bay at the Martin Luther King Jr. Regional Shoreline. And we're lucky enough in Oakland to be so close to the bay, which has all kinds of different animals. The bay is a habitat, a very special habitat. It's where the leopard sharks are at and bat rays. In fact, it's where the brackish water's at, a mix of salt and fresh. In fact, the bay is a habitat that we depend on altogether. Habitat, habitat, have to have a habitat. Habitat, habitat, have to have a habitat. Habitat, habitat, have to have a habitat. You have to have a habitat to carry on. So I'm sitting next to the banks of Temescal Creek in Temescal Regional Recreation Area. You can probably even hear it. And there are lots of creeks and rivers that flow into the bay. The creek is a habitat, a very special habitat. It's where the freshest water's at for people, fish, and dusky wood rats. But when the people dump their trash, the river takes the biggest rap. The river is a habitat that we depend on altogether. Habitat, habitat, have to have a habitat. Habitat, habitat, have to have a habitat. Habitat, habitat, have to have a habitat. You have to have a habitat to carry on. So right now we're in Reinhardt Redwood Regional Park and we're surrounded by redwood trees and they make up a forest. The forest is a habitat, a very special habitat. It's where the tallest trees are at. It's where a bear can scratch its back. It keeps the ground from falling back. Renews the oxygen. In fact, the forest is a habitat that we depend on. All together, habitat, habitat, have to have a habitat, 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 have to have a habitat, 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 have to have a habitat. You have to have a habitat to carry on. So here we are at the Martin Luther King Jr. Regional Shoreline in Oakland, surrounded by the marsh. The marsh is a habitat, a very special habitat. It's where the waterfowl are at. It's on the Pacific Flyway. In fact, it's where the algae do their math, multiplying very fast. The marsh is a habitat that we depend on. All together, habitat, habitat, have to have a habitat, 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 have to have a habitat, 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 have to have a habitat. You have to have a habitat to carry on. People are different than foxes and rabbits, affect the whole world with all their habits. Better to love it while we still have it. A rat-a-tat-a-tat-a-tat, our habitat's gone. One last time, habitat, habitat, have to have a habitat, 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 have to have a habitat, 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 have to have a habitat. You have to have a habitat to carry on. All right, my friends, so thank you so much for joining me today to learn more about the habitats that are in your East Bay Regional Parks and nature nearby. Thanks so much. Have a great day.